everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
We're back. We're finally back. We took last week off.
That was a surprise to me.
Yes, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yeah. Wow, really?
It's funny. The prequel memes have infiltrated my life, but they started when we saw the prequels. Like I thought we were all on board for this joke, but I know it's a joke. Like all the lines in the prequels are bad and are written terribly, but like for some reason people are like defending Phantom Menace, but also making fun of it by quoting them.
Right, but you also nailed that delivery. I was like, oh, I know exactly.
Oh yeah, of course.
Everything that's happening.
Well, no, I
thank you.
Yeah, you must know your enemy before you hunt it. But yeah, so this is a comic book review show, if you can't already tell, where we take the books in the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then give recommendations for comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. Tiffany is in her studio for twitch.tv/ComicPop.
I am in the...
Yeah, it's dancing, kind of. But I'm on the main set at ComicPop in ComicPop Studios. This is the Off the Rack set. Normally, Tiffany and I are crammed into one space.
One rectangle to rule them all.
Exactly. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of like showcase not only Tiffany's fun workspace, but also to remind you to follow twitch.tv/ComicPop and watch Tiffany play video games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, let's there's a lot of books that came out. I said,
there's a lot that happened this week.
We missed last week.
And there was a lot that happened last week too. So we're going to try to touch on a little bit of both. We won't go into super detail for last week's books.
It's true.
Unless Sal does, because I have no control over that. You don't. Just go.
Yeah. Now that was on the 1st of December. These are the books we're talking about that came out, and then we'll also talk about the books that came out this past week.
Sorry, I meant for the show last week. I'm talking in my own vernacular over here. I'm operating at about 10% brain capacity right now.
It's totally fair. Well,
my normal.
Well, before we jump into the books, I wanted to remind everybody that this show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, guess what? You can be a secret sponsor of today's show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the program, and it'll be here forever for posterity. And if you want to listen to the show after the fact, go to Spotify or wherever and listen to Off the Rack New Comics. And you'll check out that show on audio. And if you're listening to it on audio, thanks a lot. Make sure to go to youtube.com/ComicPop Returns and subscribe. And while you're subscribing, go to youtube.com/ComicPop and get us to 100,000 before the new year. We will not, but we do appreciate.
No, but like it's fun to hope and dream, and we'll get there.
Exactly, and that's tis the season for that kind of experience anyway. Exactly. But yeah, so here's an example of somebody who did just that. Brian Rollins, who said, "I have high hopes for Luke Cage getting some respect in Devil's Reign that he hasn't gotten since New Avengers. Great having Off the Rack back. Great to have it back. Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, man, I'm hyped. We'll talk about Devil's Reign in a little bit, but I'm very excited. Aaron Jefferson helping us out. Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's jump into it. Last week there was a book.
Last week or
2 weeks ago, the 1st of December, Daredevil number 36 came out. It was the end of the arc lockdown, and also it was the end of the Daredevil run. Not forever, but certainly for the time being.
For now,
because we're giving way.
Look Daredevil's at these dueling devils.
Dueling devils. They don't fight. They don't do anything. They just are Daredevil at the same time.
Okay.
Daredevil number 36, of course, from Chip Zdarsky. This time, Mark Cicchetto has not drawn Daredevil in a while because he was working on this event, this main book, Devil's Reign. This one is drawn by Manuel Garcia. In it wraps everything up. It ends the series for now. And basically it dovetails into why Fisk starts Devil's Reign, that being Fisk marries Typhoid Mary, and he goes into his secret file at his lake house that says like Daredevil's secret identity. He reads it, it's empty and blank, and he doesn't understand why, so he knows something has happened. Someone's tampered with his memories, and of course he did. Daredevil dealt with the Purple Man's children, and they wiped everyone's minds and makes it so if you ever like almost find out what his identity is, or you look it up, or you read anything that says it, you'll see nothing. It's like being an android in Westworld, where it doesn't look like anything to me.
Right.
So Fisk is like, Fisk is a regular guy. So he's just like, these superheroes have messed with my brain and make me not know this thing. Now, I would use it to destroy people's lives, but, that's my prerogative. You superpowered, jackbooted Nazis. So he begins Devil's Reign as a result. Like Daredevil number 36 explains why Devil's Reign is happening, but
Okay.
Devil's Reign number 1 does a nice job of explaining it anyway. And yeah, Daredevil 36, it's fun, it's fine, the art's okay. You get to see bearded Daredevil and Elektra team up. You get to see Elektra, Daredevil kind of like reunite with Matt. Matt goes through a kind of odd baptism. It's good stuff. It's just fine.
Okay.
So that happened, and I enjoyed it. I recommend it. John Holbrook
Great.
helping us out. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
I did read Amazing Spider-Man number 80. It's fine. That's all I can say.
I know you're not excited about this new status quo for now.
No,
I really thought the Death of Doctor Strange issue was going to make you feel a little more at ease.
It's fine. I know I know it won't last. I'm not worried about it, But yeah, it's fine. Kraven's in it. He fights Spider-Man.
Kraven's in it, almost like he should have been in a movie.
Yeah, a movie that's coming out this week. But instead, but like that, this isn't really Kraven. Of course, Kraven is not real. Like Kraven died, and his clone took over and occupied the same space that Kraven's in, and the writers didn't know that. Like the editor clearly didn't care or remind anybody. So Kraven's like, "We've fought forever," and I'm like, "No, you haven't. You don't remember any of that. You're not Kraven. That's not you."
Maybe it's those kind of clone things where they have all the memories.
He was raised by Kraven. He shouldn't remember him at all. Right. And even if he did, this Kraven knows that he's not the real Kraven. So it's
right.
It's just lazy. So whatever. Oh my God, I forgot that a detective came out. I've got to buy that and read it. Oops. I'm an idiot. So yeah, that
happened. About that next time.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're talking about it, you read the Death of Doctor Strange tie-in Spider-Man 2 weeks ago.
I did.
What did you think? Because that's written by Jed MacKay.
Jed MacKay, who's
writing the main thing and Moon Knight, which is why Moon Knight shows up in that book.
Right.
Hilariously.
Yeah. I will say the art is much better inside than it is outside.
Yeah. For sure.
This is drawn by Greg Land, and it's awful.
Yeah, no, but the interior art I thought was good. I really enjoyed it. And I honestly I enjoyed the spirit of this book.
Yes.
Because it's basically Felicia going like, "You're not Spider-Man. Stop saying you're Spider-Man."
Yeah.
Like, and then by the end it's like, you can be him for now, but like I'm gonna work really hard to get Peter back.
Yeah, she is the reader. She's like, "Why are you not like? What are you doing here?" Felicia has met Ben. She didn't hook up with him, but she did flirt with him a lot. She was like, "You seem fine." Like we already did an issue about 20 years ago where this happened, but it didn't happen because Doc Strange died. By the way, it's drawn by Marcelo Ferreira.
Yeah, it looks good. I really did enjoy a lot of it, a lot of the art and the story. I like the reverence for Strange, of course, because like Peter and Steve have a pretty history. Have a history, have a nice little relationship, give or take, depending on a couple of moments here and time there. But having Ben like recognize what Strange meant for the world, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But overall, like the Death of Doctor Strange series so far for me, because I read another tie-in this week because I honestly bought it because I thought it was Darkhold for some reason. I bought it and I read it and it ended up working out for me anyway. But it's more tie-ins than anything else right now.
Yes.
And I think we have another tie-in before we get the next issue of the Death of Doctor Strange. And so it feels a little bloated right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what this is leading to other than like people are trying desperately to guess who will be the next Sorcerer Supreme. And I'm kind of like, I'm sorry. We do have one more because it's X-Men Black Knight. No, wait, this might be an older one because they had to change up the schedule for a couple of things, I think.
They did have a Death of Doctor Strange White Fox issue, which...
Yes. No, I'm right. It is X-Men Black Knight. It's the next one. And then we get issue 4 of Death of Doctor Strange, then the Bloodstone tie-in, and then issue 5. So it's just, it's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. But if you're just reading the Death of Doctor Strange, you're
then
fine.
Yes and no, because now you've had a bit of time where you have not had an issue.
Yes.
And so like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's not great, but yeah, that's where we are. What was it? Sour Pine says, "Hey, Sal and Tiffany, been a fan for years. Figured that before I go into social media exile for No Way Home, I donate something. Keep it up." Well, thank you very much, Sour Pine. And Spider-Man No Way Home is coming. It's like it might almost already be here in certain regions / of the world. But watch out for spoilers. Make sure to be respectful and cool in the comments and in the chat, especially in live chat. And if you are looking to like avoid spoilers, just avoid Twitter entirely, avoid Discord entirely, unless you're in a safe space. We created one, hopefully in Discord. There's a space in our Discord, which you can find a link to in our description of every video we make, where it's just for No Way Home spoilers. So it's like, if you want to talk about that,
to yell those into the ether.
There's a chat directly for that. It's for No Way Home. Just go in there.
Yeah. I would also recommend, if you can, turn off like certain push notifications. I don't know about you, but I get push notifications for news on my phone.
The news will spoil it.
But like, even within like the going to swipe it away, you might see something in a title, because that's all they're going to want to do.
Yeah.
Is get you to click on that, or to just be mad.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if they spoil it in the title, you'll be like, oh, I'm been spoiled. I guess I'll read it.
I don't do that. I just get mad.
Yeah, I do too. But like, yeah, they're hoping that they've changed the discourse, and they haven't. So yeah, what else did you read from 2 weeks ago? We're getting into the new books, I promise.
So let's just I'll rapid fire a couple. I read New Mutants.
Yes. Great art.
Yeah, great art.
That's Vita Ayala and Rod Rice.
Exactly. We wrapped up the Shadow King. Shadow King's dead, and Farouk lives. They've killed the Shadow King out of him. So he's just
Farouk. They killed it out of him.
They killed it right on out of him. So we've taken care of that. I'd also, of course, set the precedent, because not this issue, but this series today set the precedent that clones can come back, because Gabby came back.
Yes.
Because
so now they can do that.
The 5 are like, I know we said we weren't going to have duplicates, but these clones are individuals in and of themselves. And so we think that they should be resurrected. And here we are.
Yes.
Which that'll come into play later. Trust me, folks. We'll talk about that one later on. So I want to mention that to you.
Mm-hmm.
I read Marauders last week or 2 weeks ago. They fought Fing Fang Foom. They brought back was it Harry Leland, and Emma Frost wore her old sexy costume.
Yes. Yeah, you get to see a callback to her lingerie suit.
To a point where I was like, what is happening in this book right now? That's Marauders, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Matteo Lally. That's what you missed there. Fing Fang Foom just showed up. I was like, well, I have to read that for sure. Wonder Girl, picked that one up.
Yes.
Written by Joelle Jones, with art not by Joelle. Seemingly, she's completely off the art for this book.
Oh, great. Okay. Is the art... Go ahead.
The art is fine. You know what I mean? Like, if I had not seen Jones, I'd be like, this is good.
Right. But not great.
Well, no, not comparing it to Joelle Jones. I will say what is better is that Jones isn't doing any part of the art in this.
Yeah, so it's not comparatively.
There's no comparison there. That was really rough when she was doing some of it, and then another artist was subbing in, because I'm like, ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's Adriana Mello.
Yep. So in this, Yara turns down Hera's offer. Her Pegasus dies, seemingly.
Yeah.
And
that's sad.
And Donna Troy's back here.
She's here. I didn't know she left.
Well, I don't know if she left, but she's here. And she's part. Well, don't forget, we're leading to something.
Right.
All the books are headed towards.
Oh yes, the Wonder Woman event with
Wonder Woman.
And
so like I think some of the books are setting certain things up here. But so if you missed that issue, I would catch on that pretty quickly, because this week another issue comes out.
Oh my god.
Of Wonder Girl. So I'm going to guess they're trying to make up for lost ground with the art or the hang-ups for some of the previous issues. Totally. I read Justice League Dark, the annual, after having literally not been keeping up with Justice League, and it was good. I was able to kind of follow along with it. It's a longer issue. It's written by Ram B with art by somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody. Dan Waters, I think.
Oh, that's cool. I'm trying to pull it up. It's not
really... Art was fine.
It
was fine. It was at times spectacular, and at other times like,
So that averages out to fine.
Yeah, exactly. I got to give like credit where credit is due for some really spectacular splash images in this issue, like huge one-page splashes, really great looking, and also a series of panels that I really loved reading, because it involves Mr. E. His return and how he got back and how he had to walk backwards from beyond the source wall, essentially.
Okay.
And then he comes across a scene between Merlin and something else. And basically you read the scene and then you realize at the end of it that he had to watch it backwards. So then you read it the other way. Like you can go back and read it the correct way. And I was like,
fun.
that was a highlight. I really enjoyed that. This is a book, this annual made me realize how much I missed actually just having a book for Justice League Dark, and did not make me want to go and pick up Justice League just to read it. It feels like a punishment, but I also want to support it. It's hard. So I had to pick up the annual, even if I hadn't been reading the Justice League Dark series in the back of Justice League. I was like, I have to support this because I want them to know that I want this to be a book.
Yes.
So yeah, if you didn't pick that up, I say go grab it. Other than that, last week we picked up one Historia.
Yes.
It's crazy story and crazy art. Crazy art.
Yeah.
Like art that I'm like, I think this is good.
Yeah, that's for me. That is Phil Jimenez, by the way, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick. But Phil Jimenez's art is like that for me. Where when I was growing up reading his work, I was like, he's awesome. And then later on, I'd be like, is it awesome?
It's so funny because there's so many things that I'm like there are a bunch of like God designs in there that I'm like, yes, these are great. And then there'll be some really random like moments with like color that I'm like, what's happening here? But like, I think overall, dig it, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Great because it's oversized.
Yes.
So if you prefer to pick up physicals, this is a fun one to pick up in physical because you get to really like pour over it. I will say there is a moment in this book that really, really bothered me. And either it's done for a really meta reason that I'm like, I'd love to find out why, or it's just not thinking about it. But there's this big, beautiful splash page in the book, and it's a figure, and the face is right in the middle. I believe it's Hera. I don't have the book with me. But her face in the middle of the splash page, it's a 2-page spread. Her face is in
the crease,
the fold of the book. And I was like, that's either like there's either some deeper meaning there or oops. I have to go back and look at it again, but like that really irked me. So much so that I remembered enough to say it here.
There you have it.
The last one I want to bring up is I read The Me You Love in the Dark.
Yes.
It's over.
Oh no, that's it?
Yeah, that was the story. And I gotta tell you, it is a ride. It is a ride. I loved this entire series. I loved this issue. I'm sad that it's over, but I'm glad it ended where it did because it was strong.
Cool.
So good. I don't want to ruin it. I can't.
Good. Scotty Young, Jorge Corona. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I'm glad because it looked great. I loved reading the first issue myself. So I'll be excited to check out the rest of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Knowing that it's over, it's so much easier to jump into something.
Yeah, it's just, like it's there it is. You have it all. Just
right.
Really good book, really good read, just something you could pick up. And there's a lot to it. It's like has this like whimsy to the art, but there's also a darkness to the art, and it matches 100% where this book goes.
Nice.
It's dark.
That's cool. Good. Sean Conwell said, "Missed your talk on No Way Home's trailer, but I'd love to listen to your thoughts. Any Spider-Man villains you want to see brought to live action, like Spot? Spot would be fun to see on in live action. If you didn't already check that out, you should. It's a fun conversation. As far as Spider-Man villains, I mean, I'd love to see like a real lizard would be really cool. Like McFarlane drawn lizard would be great. I'd like to see. Any of them would be cool. Like Kraven would be fun, but if he wasn't played by the actor they're picked, and if he was in the Spider-Man context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been people trying to make rumors and connections. I kind of want to see Hobgoblin.
Yes. I would love to see Hobgoblin, but like Hobgoblin, not like New Goblin or Snowboarding Goblin.
Like Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
I'd also accept Demo Goblin because that indicates supernatural.
That would be amazing to see Demo Goblin. I'd like to see Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Would be great to see. Of course.
I wouldn't mind if they actually put in like Black Cat, not as a villain necessarily.
Black Cat.
I would like to see that. I think, even though like I'm not like always the biggest Felicia Hardy fan, I think that could be a lot of fun.
I completely agree. Cat Lawyer will defend for treats, going to pretend it's Spider Pete in Devil's Reign. You have to, because clearly he was written to be that, and they just went, "Oh, you need synergy. Change the costume." Comic Lantern 2. Hey, Silent, haven't been a fan for years. Finally glad to donate something. Which Spider-Man are you most excited to see? If there are more than one Spider-Man, I mean, I'm excited to see them all. I loved Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, so I think that's the one I'd like to see the most return. I'll be intrigued by Toby, and I love Tom Holland, so I'm happy to see him continue. But if we have to see one come back or one continue in any way outside of Tom, I'd like to see Andrew Garfield get his due.
Yeah.
You?
Oh, sorry. What was the question?
Which Spider-Man are you the most
I was just
excited to
listening
see?
to you talk. I'm
It's
like,
just Andrew
yeah.
Garfield. I know that.
It is. No, it definitely is. I mean, again, I like Toby, but like, I just know Garfield had a passion, like a big passion for the character,
Yeah.
and so like it's just nice,
Yeah,
to like give him another shot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Young Goku over 9,000. So the Nightwing annual with Red Hood was actually amazing. For X-Men, the Eternal writer is in writing Immortal X-Men. Yes, please. Batman was good too. Glad to hear it. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
King Sport Cal says, getting ready for work. I need more X-Men back issues. Those are my favorites. Sal, I have every Executioner song floppy from my childhood. Let's go back. Let's go back. Yeah, we did Executioner song, man. And I like doing X-Men, but like every time I do, there's 3 people who show up, not the same people, who just like lose it because I'm like flippant about the history of the X-Men. It's people who are like, this show is the worst because you're not a crazy X-Men fan like me. And I'm like, okay, I don't care about that.
Well, listen, this is their stories. This is their soap operas.
That's true.
We could do Hellfire Gala. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we should do Hellfire Gala big time.
We'll have to do Inferno just because
Inferno. Yeah, the original Inferno and then the new one. Dan V900, Batman 118 was a breath of fresh air and was my favorite issue of Batman series since the end of the Cold Days arc. Abyss is a new character that's getting killed by Batman Inc. It was a really good hook. Well, way to spoil the book, but I'm sorry that you did that. I'm glad, however, that you enjoyed the issue. Tinfoil Tyrant, happy belated anniversary to you all. I've been playing Spider-Man PS4. Haven't had this much fun with a game since New Vegas or Skyrim 10 years ago. Yeah, me too, man. And if you haven't already, you should download the new skins that are available in your Spider-Man PS4 or PS5 game. It's great.
Yes.
And they look great.
No, it does. It's so funny. We were just talking about this the other day that like I was like, I can't believe they keep releasing outfits, like costumes for him. And I'm like, you have to save something for the next game. Stop putting them out.
Yeah, but there are still more costumes. You just have to make those costumes re-available and also new costumes.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, where are we now? Are we in this year?
I went this year.
Or this month, I should say, or this week.
Yeah, I mean, I went through all the ones I read from 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, same here.
So
all right, well, let's do it. I read, for some reason, I was just, I know why. I picked up Amazing Spider-Man number 80.BEY because Marvel hates us and doesn't want us to read their books. But
Bay?
.bay, because it stands for Beyond, because it's Spider-Man Beyond. Its story is credited to Patrick Gleason, Zeb Wells, Kelly Thompson, Saladin Ahmed, and Cody Ziegler, I believe, actually wrote the story of this one, with art by Paco Medina and Carlos Gomez and Ivan Fiorelli. This was, if you would like a book that has absolutely nothing to do with the main, like if it is just a tie-in. It is not even a tie-in. It's a wheel spinning book. It's, if you were like, what does dot anything mean for numbering? Dot anything means it doesn't matter. But if you'd like to see Doc Ock and Aunt May flirt because he was going to use her in a like scheme he was hatching 40 years ago when like they got engaged. Yeah, it was a fun little like classic Spider-Man story where like Aunt May was going to marry Doc Ock.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but like, so there's a history there. So Aunt May is like, I wish that like I had the materials I needed to make Peter wake up from his coma. So she enlists the help of Doc Ock, who puts on a variant of his classic white suit, which is my favorite version of Doc Ock.
I know it is.
That's why I bought it. I bought it because I saw him in the white suit in this cover. He gets the materials, but at the expense of her morality. So she like makes him go away, but he gives them the doctors the material they need. So Peter wakes up from his coma. So if you're wondering like, hey, how come Peter woke up from his coma randomly? It's because of this issue.
Oh,
so it's like, oh, okay. It's there you have it. I read this annual and I'm trying to remember what the hell even happened in it. Superman, Son of Kal-El annual number 1 from Tom Taylor and Clayton Henry. I really don't remember anything that happened in this issue. I'm sorry. No. I just don't remember anything about it. Now I remember. Okay. So, Superman plays a chess game with Lex Luthor, and then he leaves to save somebody so he doesn't get a chance to finish the game. And then later, Lex, like, basically he gets out of jail and he ascends to power again, and he builds LexCorp Tower to cast a shadow of his name over the Daily Planet, and this incenses John, who like offers to play a chess game with Lex, and the stakes of the game are like, if I don't remember what the hell Lex gets if he wins, but if John wins, he takes down the name on the building so that it won't cast a shadow on the Daily Planet. John immediately beats Lex in a like rushed game of chess. And when Lex asks John to explain himself, like how, John says that before he went there, he used super speed and read every book about chess he could, and also watched every match that Lex Luthor ever played. So he learned his chess playing skills.
Okay.
And and he basically to say like, I can do anything. I'm Superman. And and my dad was always holding back, and I won't. Maybe you can be good or something. It's just like, it's a hopeful, fun issue.
Like hokey kind of.
Yeah, but it also shows you like the difference between how John is going to handle Lex Luthor. So I don't know if it's worth $6. It's a fun issue that you should remember exists, so that in about a week or two you can get it for $1.
Right.
But don't spend $6 on this. It's a fun issue, but it's not worth $1. You also get a fun scene where Batman goes to Lois's house and like knocks on the door, and he's just like, I don't sneak into this house. Like, not after last time. Like, Lois let me really have it. And Taylor suggests that Alfred has contacted every single like place Batman might go and stocks them with Earl Grey tea.
Or
rather, he did before he died.
Right.
Because Alfred is still dead, even though he shouldn't be, and they should have fixed that like a year or two ago. So, it's a fun issue. I don't recommend it at full price at all.
Okay.
I also read Batman 89.
Oh yeah.
Yep, the number 4. This book is fine. I'm enjoying it more. I think if this were a graphic novel, I would love it. But reading it issue to issue is tedious. Otherwise, like, I do recommend.
So you think you'd rather have it as like a trade?
When it's a trade. When it's done. When it's done, you'll love it. Like or you'll enjoy it. But it's I believe it's Sam Hamm and Jorge Molina. But it's a fun book. This one has more Robin in it. So
I can't Sam Hamm. I can't with that name. Sorry.
I know. I think it's a pen name. So that happened.
Solid.
And I read
pen
that.
name.
And I'm not going to waste any more time on those books as far as explaining.
Oh, you know what I read? I think you brought it back to the studio too. That Villains book.
Yes, the DC Villains.
Ago.
It's here. It's actually across from you.
Oh, is it? Oh, I read just one of the stories in there. That's all I had a chance to before I lost track of it.
Yeah.
I read that Danny DeVito one.
Yes, you did. That's the one everyone's talking about. So
it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't know how else to. Anyone else who chat, back me up here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's bizarre. It's Penguin who's like in a relationship with Catwoman, and I assumed it was all going south, but like it turns out they're trying. Like, it's the two of them and like their love story.
Oh.
And like how they help to save the world.
Okay.
Yeah. But Dan Mora drew it and it looks great. And
I'll bet.
So bizarre.
Fair enough.
I mean, I guess I could see where he was coming from, having played, the Penguin.
The Penguin, yeah, and Penguin like had a romantic interest in Catwoman in that movie.
That's exactly it.
But she didn't.
No, but she does.
Okay. Cool. We didn't talk about that came out last or 2 weeks ago?
What?
I think you should remember. It's The Trial of Magneto number 4.
Wow, did I completely forget that? And I read that.
Yep, me too.
And it's not over.
No,
you thought
it
was
not.
Over, and I was like, it's not. It's one more. Yeah.
It might as well be over. Because who cares? I mean, like, I feel bad because like Leah Williams was given, what is she gonna, she's given an opportunity to do an event. It's supposed to be an X Factor story, and they turn it into this.
Yeah, and then Inferno showed up, and like everyone's like, "Trial of Magneto, who?
Yeah, well,
Magneto
also
who?"
because who cares? What?
Yeah.
More or less, they old Wanda fights amnesiac Wanda. They merge, and now we've got she never really died. Like she died for a minute. They brought her back. She brought herself back. She put her soul in whatever. She's back and she's normal. They still don't like
And
her
she's
because
pissed.
yeah, she made her like fears and insecurities into kaijus that are ready to fight. So Krakoa has another reason to hate her. Uh, but they also discover that like the chains, the chains that killed her. Oh, do we talk about chains? Because I know that she was choked to death. She was choked to death by chains. And everyone's like, Magneto, they might have had an enchantment.
It's Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Ghost Rider just snuck on Krakoa and he choked her out.
Penn and stared the hell out of her.
That'll be amazing. She asked him to do it. But there's also
And
a
that was
suggestion
her punishment. She had to deal with herself. That's
that'd be
literally
fine.
not what happened. I think it's her.
No way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's so frustrating, what was it? Josh mentioned this in the chat, but like they didn't even reset her. She's it's just the same Wanda that you had in the beginning of the book. Like I thought it was gonna be like, okay, cool. It's like Wanda who doesn't remember or is before all that, or
no,
nope.
She just forgave herself. It's okay that I did all that.
Yeah, you know what?
Everyone accept me.
Everyone should just get over it, okay? Come on. And then they didn't.
Yeah.
That's the worst, is they didn't even get over it.
I know.
So
but the Avengers and the X-Men all stand up for her in a big circle. They do. Yep. And then they're going to solve this crime. Who done it?
She knows, so she's just going to tell them at the end.
It was Magneto. On Krakoa with the chains. It wasn't, Goku. I'm sure.
Yeah, please just freaking retcon Wanda. I'll forgive this whole event. I feel bad for Leah Williams, but this just ain't it, dog. Just don't do it. Yeah. No, I agree.
That's it. That's what should go on the cover.
Yeah, just don't.
What you just said.
Yeah, that quote. So let's talk, I guess, about.
Wait, hang on. I got a couple of things.
Yeah, I know.
I got a couple of things that nobody will want to talk about as much as what we really want to talk about. So let's talk about those other things that you don't want me to talk about so much. Yeah. I read the Death of Doctor Strange Blade issue again because in my head I don't know why I assumed it was a Darkhold issue because Blade was a part of it, I guess. Yeah. And it wasn't. So I was like, well, I already purchased this, so I guess I'll read it.
Yep. Well, I own it.
It doesn't have to do with anything with the Death of Doctor Strange. It's just a little Blade story. It's just a little Blade story. Just check it out there, everybody. It's just a little Blade story.
How about some Blade?
It ties into everything that's going on. But it's written by Danny Lore with art by Dylan Burnett. Really different art style look for this book. Yeah. Not quite as like dark and brooding as you might imagine for Blade. It's very colorful, but like it's very stylized too. Yeah. Dracula has a city, all the vampires are there, and like Blade's like the sheriff of Dracula Town. Which is not what it's called. But they're all like, because like Blade and Doctor Strange have worked in the past and like got rid of all vampires at one point and all that crap, right? Like the vampires are celebrating big time that Doctor Strange is dead. They're having a big party, and then there's a literal panel of sprinklers shooting blood onto the party, and then there's a grumpy Blade standing there in the bloodbath, and that really got me. That I was shook.
Yeah, well, because that's such a great moment in the Blade movie.
I just stared at that for a long while. I was like, really? Is that? Am I sure? Yeah.
Was there a banner that said bloodbath behind them?
No.
That was in the movie.
They do it a little more artfully. We're to assume it's a bloodbath. It's just a story about Blade and Dracula like throwing his weight around a little bit and like kind of getting a feel for like, if you're looking for Blade content, this might be for you, but it really doesn't tie too much into the Death of Doctor Strange other than like we're watching characters who knew Doctor Strange deal with problems that Doctor Strange would normally have to deal with.
Yeah.
That's it. And yes, that absolutely explains my Twitter post. If you saw a really random panel that just said bloodbath by me, that's where this came from, was this book. And I was so enamored with it. I needed to share it with you.
Totally.
I picked up the Spider-Man one because it was written by the guy doing the event. And so I was like, I'm going to pick this up just so that like it maybe have something important in it. And that was just an enjoyable book.
Yeah.
This was just fun.
Yeah.
And so I read it. I also read Amazing Fantasy 15.
You did.
5, not 15. 15. I read Into the Future. I read Amazing Fantasy 5 by Kari Andrews and Kari Andrews.
Yep.
This was it. It's over. So I'm not going to really talk about it, except that, like, it's funny. It really ends rather quickly, but this issue was so enjoyable that, like, it kind of makes up the random pacing issues earlier on.
Okay.
And I don't know, guys. I don't know. If you read this, tell me where you think this all came from. This ending is so interesting and bizarre. I really am looking forward to getting a hold of this as one book and rereading it to see if there's any hints to what ends up happening at the end.
Gotcha.
But overall, like, I like where it ended quite a bit. It's sweet.
Okay.
Like, it's just nice. Even though there was a moment where I was like, there's no way this ends up nice.
Right.
Nice.
Nice.
Overall, though, covers for this series were spectacular. The art for this series, I like Kari Andrews' art quite a bit. Again, hyper stylized look to it.
Yes.
But I really, really just enjoyed the entire look of the book. And now knowing what happened, I can't wait to reread it.
Yeah.
And probably get a little more of a deeper understanding. Like I said, there's a couple weird pacing issues in it, but this last issue, I was like, yeah. Yeah. So
nice. Good.
Fun little book. 5 issues. It's not a lot to commit to. If you're trade waiting on it, I'm sure you'll be able to grab it soon.
No doubt. Or you could probably get it for cheap now in the back issues.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think it's gonna be a better read as all 5 together, for sure.
You want to talk about Dark Knights of Steel?
I actually read this one, and hilariously, I hadn't read the first one, so I had to, like, look up a review of it to, like, go. I went back to what you said about it, and then I looked up a review, and I was like, "Oh, sure, okay."
Yeah. Yasmin Putri and Tom Taylor, Dark Knights of Steel #2.
Yeah.
Elseworlds book, but they refuse to use the Elseworlds logo for some reason. Still,
they hate it.
They hate the past, but they also, like, keep monetizing it.
Ignore the past, let it die.
But also,
don't forget about Batman '89. You remember when that happened? Do you remember that movie?
Remember that movie? I'll make a whole thing out of it, and toys. So yeah, Dark Knights of Steel. What if Arthur? What if Game of Thrones? What if all that stuff?
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil everything, but, like, it got everybody all upset because the idea is that it's Game of Thrones and, like, Arthurian lore, so folk are fucking. And
it happens, man. Like, there's think about it like this, folks. There's no other entertainment.
Yeah,
but you're just trying to survive.
Exactly. But Jor-El gets shot in the eye with an augmented Green Arrow that was helped by Green Lantern to kill Jor-El, and it does right after Jor-El tearfully admits that he cheated on his wife with Martha Wayne and made Bruce. So Bruce is half Kryptonian, and so he and Alfred go and they chop off his arm, Arrow's arm, and then, like, we set up, like, all these different kingdoms, like the Storms.
Which if Dark Knight Returns is any indicator, he's fine.
He'll have a robot arm or a magic arm, or they'll kill Green Lantern and he'll get a lantern ring, and his arm will be the lantern arm.
He can do it with one arm.
Yeah, but so, like, there's infighting, there's arguments. They have to wake up Diana. They apparently sent Supergirl to go to Themyscira, or at the very least to the Amazons
to train. Yeah, and I get why now.
Yeah.
She got a real anger issue.
Yeah. They also just streamline it. She's Superman's younger sister or older sister. I don't know what actually their determination is, but in any case,
siblings.
Your father has been killed.
Yeah.
So she goes off. Batman is, like, kind of wavering in his mission. He's not sure because Superman is, like, getting kind of, like, freaked out and desperate, and he's like, you're not, this isn't your family. There's a whole lot of that going on because it's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And and Supergirl demonstrates her power, murders a member of the Storm family, and then shows that she's going to be a scary force to be reckoned with. It's fine. I don't like Arthurian stuff, so
I've really enjoyed it. I was
it's
like,
good.
Yeah.
I recognize its value. I just don't care.
Oh, I do.
So,
I do.
Yeah.
I liked Lois in this. I thought that was fun.
Right.
Oh
yeah, Lois is great. Yeah.
This is
No,
this is my cup of tea, but also this book is my cup of tea.
Agreed. Yep.
I mean, think about it. 1602, you try to figure out who's going to play what role. Like,
right.
And that's very similar to this. It's akin to that, and I like that. So
yes. By the way, so 12 issues. So it's like that's the thing is I was like 12.
Yeah.
That's gonna, this is gonna go on.
No, that makes sense. You're gonna need that. Trust me.
It's good, but it's gonna get really involved. Like he learned a lesson from making Injustice and stuff. He's just like, I'm gonna put like you're gonna get so much. Like you're gonna get children from these characters. Like you're gonna go really far.
I want that
with this. So
like you listen, this issue had John Constantine in it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah,
he's great. He's in there too.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the first issue.
I didn't read the first issue.
I know. I'm just saying.
So I was like, I'm in.
Right?
Etrigan could show up. He just works. It doesn't matter.
There's no way he won't.
He's like, hey, I fit. Yeah. I fit here.
Oh, yeah.
This is me.
So, yeah, I guess we can talk about Batman number 118. This is, of course, Joshua Williamson's debut on the Bat title. With, I believe, Jorge Molina on art, but I'll have to look that up again. In this case, brand new status quo for Batman, or at the very least, a reset. I think that everybody was sick of Fear State by this point, and so they were like really excited to give Batman a welcome home. In it, basically, like, you know, Batman's back, and you know, whatever, magistrates and stuff. Forget all that. Hopefully, there's they're still dealing with the Mayor Takano, but like there's a great panel in this issue where Batman is patrolling the city. He's talking to Oracle. It's like, hey, remember that, all that stuff? And then she goes, what about Ghostmaker? And Ghostmaker took Clown Hunter and left.
Oh, it's like their own Batman and Robin.
Yes. So we can do something with them, but I love that like Ghostmaker took Clown Hunter and got in a plane and flew away. It's like, and then they died on their way back to their home planet. Also, like you can imagine that, and Miracle Molly and Punchline and, oh God, the horticulture person, whatever her name is, I don't remember. The gardener. They all got on a boat and they died, and like just everything. James Tynion IV just went away.
So like
Peacemaker 1, he died too. Like
here's what I think he went wrong. Just in general, it was just too much all at once.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure that like because I definitely jumped off of this book pretty early on with his run because I like Tynion, but like I just wasn't jiving with what he was doing there. And then I have no doubt that there is something in a couple of those characters. Like I saw a lot of love for the gardener, and I like, her design's kind of cool, and like I don't know enough about the character whatsoever, but like it's just too much all at once. And it immediately kind of like, I don't know, there's something about that, I think, as comic book readers, that like part of you knows it can't all last, like it's too much. And so like you don't want to get too attached to anything, or you don't really feel like you want to delve into it because you don't think that they're going to stick around for that long, you know? That doesn't mean they won't ever come back. Now that they've been created, they're there. The toys are available if someone wants to pick it up and utilize it.
Do you want to see a Ghostmaker Clown Hunter book? Pick it up.
Yeah, but like I feel like if he had maybe focused on one or two new creations, that they could have probably become like a larger mainstay. And that's something that like people might want to like, oh, I would like to have more about that. But like having so many, it was just a lot, you know?
Yeah. So Batman breaks up like the robbing of a big, expensive, rich people charity ball where everyone's dressed like supervillains from Batman's like rogues gallery. Batman saves the day. He runs into a small child who's the daughter of one of the rich people who's dressed up as Punchline. She asks Batman for his autograph, and he like smiles like that's funny. Which I was
that's the Punchline.
I think he'd find that disgusting and repugnant, but whatever. He wins the day. Oracle's been in his ear the whole time. She's like, what do you normally do when you like win a case and have to like just enjoy it for a minute? And we get a beautiful kind of like full page breakdown of what Batman's like memories are from that. And it's like, Batman on a rooftop with Jim just enjoying the sunrise, or him, celebrating with Robin or hooking up with Catwoman or like celebrating with Superman or playing chess with Alfred.
Oh,
it's like, these are the things I did. And then like, Barbara's like, well, why don't you have breakfast with me and Dick? And he can't because he heard that members of Batman Incorporated were arrested for murder. So he flies away. He goes, I'm going out of town for a while. And he goes like to, I don't know, what is it called? Badisnia. And basically he puts on his Batman Incorporated costume, which I think is hilarious. And he finds out that there was a character named Abyss who was Josh Williamson's James Tynion IV character.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just beaten savagely to death by Batman Incorporated. And they're like, he's trying to figure out like, is this what happened? Is this not what happened? But then it turns out like, yeah, no, they really did beat Abyss to death and they died. And so like, let's find out why. And then it turns out that the whole thing, like Batman Incorporated basically got away from Batman. Like after he lost his money and stuff, he's like, Batman Incorporated, like we lost steam. Like Grant Morrison left and I stopped caring. So Lex Luthor chipped in and he took over.
Oh no.
So Lex Luthor's like, yeah, I took over Batman Incorporated. And that's the end of the
issue. Wouldn't he have known that?
Yeah, he should have, but he didn't. Because
it would have made more sense if it was Amanda Waller.
Oh yeah.
Or like a shady arm of the government.
Right, but like Batman's not a billionaire. He's not as rich as Lex Luthor anymore. So we're going to see that. I don't know. It's fine. Like I enjoyed it well enough.
All they was like call John in and he can best him at a game of chess and get it back.
Yes. Yeah, why doesn't Batman just read every book that Lex Luthor's ever written and then figure it out?
A lot of Lex floating around right now.
Indeed.
Not to the show.
No.
Which is bad.
Yes. But yeah, it's fine. Like I enjoyed it well enough. I certainly enjoyed it more than any of the James Tynion stuff over the last 2 years. But and I hear there's a new status quo coming where Batman's going to leave Gotham and go to New York, and I'm like, okay.
He's only like 45 minutes away, though.
Exactly. Like he's not that far. I don't know. Batman. I'm kind of almost out of like I'm 100% like I'm almost 100% out of mainstream month to month Batman comics at this point because like I just rather read about Batman like that's that splash where Batman's like on the roof with Gordon or playing chess with Alfred. I'm like, that's what I want to read. I don't want to read any of this bullshit. I just want to read Batman like be a detective, fight a criminal, hook up with his very intimate small group of people and go deal with the problem. I don't want to see Batman like
I feel like the problem is that a lot of writers come in and they really want to do like the next big thing. So they're trying to always like do something huge and do something like bombastic and like top the other person, even if they're not actively like being like, I'm going to be better than that person. Like,
they just want their ideas to be in a CW show so they can be paid.
And they don't know how long they're going to have on the gig. So it's like, I got to do the big thing out of the gate.
Yeah.
But like sometimes a small story speaks volumes. But like I get you don't want to risk it. What if you don't ever get a chance again? So
right. So you gotta take big swings. But sometimes, like you said, like the smaller swings make the home runs. So
but that's why I think maybe also you're feeling like you'd rather read some of these like mini series or Black Label stories because it's like it can be whatever it wants. It's limited. They don't they're not worrying about like keeping a monthly title afloat.
Right.
They could just tell a story that they want to tell.
Yeah. So, it's very fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Sal from ComicPop.
Yeah. It's great. There's a cover for this that Victor Bogdanovic did that's an homage to Spider-Man #1 from Tom
I know you were all about that
was for this
cover.
issue, and I got to go buy it. I forgot to pick it up, but it's so great. And it's like, that made people so excited. And it's like, classic Batman makes people very excited. That's the thing. Let's talk about Inferno.
Wait, no, I've got one more.
Okay.
Hellions is over.
Oh yeah, it's over.
Hellions is over. This was issue 18, written by Zeb Wells with art by Zay Carlos and Steven Segovia, which I thought was very nice because Segovia, I think, kicked this series off.
Yeah, I think so.
And I believe Zay Carlos picked it up along the way. So it was nice to have them both back. I thought this issue was excellent. I thought it was a nice handling of the series, and it actually came full circle. You know, we started with the threat of them going into the pit, and that's where we ended, with the threat of them going into the pit. That's what this issue is talking about, because Orphan Maker killed 2 humans in the last issue, and so now they have to face justice. Nanny brought a mutating AI onto Krakoa by accident. So everybody's on trial here. And honestly, this issue had everything. It really like delved into like little finishing touches for each of the characters. But the most, of course, would be for Orphan Maker and Nanny. There's a moment in this where it goes like full horror and also like sad, which is very much where this story began, was with like horror elements. And like, I got to tell you, Wells really, I thought he did an excellent job finishing this story. Not everybody can finish a story this strong.
Yeah.
And 100%, that's what happened here. This story just hit on all the notes that we started on at the beginning. At the end of the day, I'm going to delve into a little bit of spoilers here, folks. If you haven't read this issue and you want to wait, just mute me for a moment. But Orphan Maker is going to be thrown into the pit. Like, they're like, we can't, like, Nightcrawler tries to make a plea for him. He's like, we're about forgiveness and like all that. And they're like, we have to do this. Like, we said, this is what our laws are. We have to follow them.
Right.
And so like Krakoa's vines are coming up and they're like starting to like wrap around him, and like he's going to be drawn in, and like Nanny shows up, and Emma Frost is like, you're on trial. You're also on trial. Like, you don't get to tell us what to do, because she's like, let him go. And then she's like, all right, fine. I'm going in with him. Like, I shouldn't have left him, and I'm not going to send him down by himself. I'm going with him. And they're like, you can't do that. And she's like, fine, then I'll go back to anywhere else off Krakoa, and I'll just start killing humans. I'll like, bathe in their blood until like you send me down there with my boy.
Oh.
And I was like, that's really messed up. She specifically calls out Kitty and like names names.
Good.
Kitty's like, what did I do? And she's like, you didn't stand up for us. You didn't do anything. Nice. So then literally like Orphan Maker picks up Nanny. They put like themselves head to egg. And then she sings them a lullaby as they're sucked up by the earth. And I was like, oh no.
That's dope.
So that was incredible. And everybody's left like,
was that the right thing? I mean, I guess, yeah.
Is this what we're really doing with people? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We see Empath is surrounded by some of the like original Hellions members. They're all yelling at him about letting them take the name Hellions and all that stuff. He looks like upset. Then he uses his powers on them to like get them to like be nice to him, but he's just sad because he misses his old team. Like, they had a real effect on him. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We see Wild Child.
Yeah.
Yes. Sitting in front of like the doctor, therapist, whatever, and like she's like, I'm going to give you this pill. It'll help to like control your mood, but I know you're not going to do it. So let's just pretend like you swallowed, and he takes it.
Oh.
And then we see Scott talking to Havoc.
Yeah.
And like, sorry how it all shook out, whatever. And then basically, that like he wanted like that, like that it's complicated to bring back Madeline because there's a lot to it. And Scott's like, I'm married to one of the complications. And Havoc's like, no, it's fine, whatever. And he's like, Scott's like, I was really surprised that Emma was able to smooth it out. And then we reveal that Madeline Pryor's back.
Okay. Oh my God.
I was like, oh God. But we set that up. We set that up in the beginning of this.
That's right.
Set it up. Right. So he's back. They have a really awkward conversation.
Okay.
She's like, oh, sorry, I got a little carried away there for a second. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, you're totally fine. They definitely did a good job bringing you back there. He's like, hey, let's go like get something to eat and like hang out and catch up and stuff like that. And she's like, that's cool. I need to get ready. And she's wearing like this green jumpsuit. She looks in the mirror and she's like full Goblin Queen.
Oh my
God. That's inside of her. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So remember, like, and I wanted to bring up before the whole thing about Gabby coming back, because we've already bent the rules about like clones coming back and like them being duplicates and saying like it's totally fine. In the letter that the 5 wrote, they specifically mentioned Madeline in that issue. And so like I was like, they set this up that Madeline would come back, that Emma made it happen because she worked out something with Havoc. He helped her out earlier, and so she helped to bring him back.
Cool.
But that, like, Emma's had enough. Like, Emma's already involved with Inferno, and we'll talk about that. But Emma's also had enough of Sinister. Everybody's done with Sinister, but like, bringing Madeline back was enough for her because it like puts Sinister in an uncomfortable position. And anything to do that because, like, according to her, he's a cancer on Krakoa. And like Magneto's like, like, yes, he is. He absolutely is. But like, the problem is that we have to let him live or like let him be because like if cancer knows how to do one thing, it's how to grow. And so like clearly we need to keep him around in case we need more numbers, right?
Yeah.
But then we see that he's clearly working on like some of the like Omega, well, not all Omega, but like original X-Men characters like Cyclops and Storm. He's got like their DNA presumably, or he's working through their codes.
Sure.
And we end, of course, with a little gentle moment between Quanon and Grey Crow that like they're going to possibly have a bit of a relationship and like retire in a way.
Okay.
So it was really, the reason I want to talk about that one is in that amount of depth was just because of how many notes that he managed to wrap up from the beginning gave me that same feel because that opening like volume of them dealing with the cloning facility, there's so many like horror moments in that. It was so great. We kind of moved away from that. We went to Otherworld and met Tarn and all them, got a little bit more, a little taste of it there.
Yeah.
But to end with that nanny orphan maker scene to bring Madeline back, I'm like, yeah. So good stuff overall. This is a book that will be missed, but it was ended in a way that didn't feel cheap. This is the end of this team, this version of this team. And I'm okay with that.
Yay. Well, I'm glad it ended well because it
Me
like
too.
that would have been
really crappy if it was just like, I really needed one more issue.
Yeah.
No, it felt good. Good. Enjoyed it.
Kenneth Crawley says, "Hi, Sal and Tiffany. Love ComicPop and the work you all do." Well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Kenneth. Really appreciate it. So yeah, Inferno. Although there are more, so hang on. While we get to Inferno,
okay.
Elijah Bowers says, "Thanks for the great content. Merry Christmas." You too, Elijah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Critic Clips. Black Label Bats is where it's at, Sal. You'll like it.
And he does.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy a lot of Black Label books.
Oh, I can't wait for that Jock book to come out.
I know. Harishi Venkatesh says, which of the newly announced Destiny of X comics are you most excited for? I came on board with Hawks and Pox, so it's all still new and cool for me. Great. Well, and keep enjoying it. I'm not looking at too many of them because I know they're spoiling the end.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the list at all because I just want to get through Inferno. They can't help it. It's not even like, it's not like the creators' fault. Like, it's just Marvel marketing. They have to get the stuff out there. They got to get the buzz going. So like something could be in there that could lead you to a conclusion for Inferno. So I'm just avoiding it.
Totally. Speaking of Inferno, it's of course written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Valerio Schiti. Ta-da. Inferno, number 3. It's here.
It's not just Schiti. It's
yeah, that's right. It's Stefano Caselli.
Yeah, there's like, I thought there was more than, I
RB
thought there's
Silva.
3 people.
Yeah,
there's 3 people on this book.
Yes. They work really well together, by the way.
They do. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So obviously, we're in the fallout of Xavier and Magneto telling Emma everything, and she's like, fuck both of you. All 3 of you, in fact. In this one, we get a little bit of a flashback about like, remember that time in Hawks and Pox when Cypher was sent to Krakoa
and he touched the leaf and we saw a bit of Warlock go onto that leaf and you're like, what's up with that?
What's up with that? Well, we get a full explanation, full reveal of what's up with that. We see Warlock come out and Warlock and Cypher are talking with Krakoa and they're figuring it out and they're working out their plan and they come up with a new solution. They figure out how is it that Cypher talks to Krakoa? How is it that Krakoa is able to communicate with the mutants? What is the deal they made with Krakoa? All of that is revealed. And it's done kind of behind Xavier's back because they don't trust Xavier.
Right.
And they have no reason to. They want to believe and they want to like him and they want to like get into this plan, but they are afraid.
But there's too much history.
Too much history. So yeah, they've got like a whole network of Warlock connected directly with Krakoa. And so nothing that happens on Krakoa escapes Cypher or Warlock's gaze.
And like Krakoa was feeding off of Warlock.
Yes. That Krakoa Krakoa can't just like make stuff. It has to draw energy, and I think it like said it was going to use mutants or something. It was like the idea was
Yeah, like everybody, which I was
going to
like,
draw
oh boy,
from them, from their energy to be able to function and make what they want. So yeah, it's nefarious and messed up and can't survive, can't last. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
We see them engineer the new flowers, which is
all
like
different types of
teleportations.
flowers.
Yeah. Yep.
Beast has flowers that were grown from mutant cadavers.
There's no place they come up with. We just see the origins of the flower.
Well, what's interesting about the no place one in particular was like we see them like him discussing it with Krakoa.
Yep.
And that it's like, here's the flower for no place that will like you won't be able to look in there, Krakoa.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that our friend Warlock can't.
Exactly.
And that's what I was like, oh no, like just pit in my stomach, just
because we see that when they have that conversation with Moira and she's like, I want Destiny burned from existence, I want her gone. We see that conversation is privy to Warlock and Cypher, and he's just like, we were right not to trust them. So we now know that like Cypher, Krakoa, and Warlock are not on board for Moira's plan.
Right.
Destiny and Mystique go to visit Emma because I don't think they know that Emma knows the truth about Moira. I think they just go to like work with her. Destiny drops.
She summons them.
Yes, that's right.
She requests them to be there.
There you go. Destiny drops some science on the cuckoos in a big bad way. You'll have to get into it to find out more. Emma tells them what's up, but also goes into it shows them the alternate life where like they basically she explains why Moira has such a problem with Destiny. It's because in an alternate life, Destiny and Mystique and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants torture her and burn her alive.
They burned her alive, yeah.
And they're like, oh. Destiny reveals that she doesn't really understand or know. It's not her, because it was an alternate her. But yeah, that Emma has no interest in working with any of them.
No, she's like, I'm alone.
Yes.
I've always have been and I always will be. And I was like, damn, I really liked Emma being part of all of this.
Me too.
But yeah.
Yep. Moira is kidnapped by Orcus. And so they try to get her. Magneto and Xavier work together. They discover that she is in pain. And so they start the hunt for Moira. Thankfully, they put a tracker in her, unbeknownst to her. But knownst to Orcus, we get a little cut to Orcus, which is rebuilding the mother mold in the sun, so you can't drop it in there anymore. I guess, I don't know. But and then we get a big retcon about Omega Sentinel and Nimrod.
Yeah.
Basically, Omega Sentinel here, the Omega Sentinel we know that we used from the past that's here, was overwritten by another Omega Sentinel that traveled back in time.
Well, yes, it's not just that. It was over the consciousness from the Omega Sentinel from the future came back and went into the person who would become the Omega Sentinel and therefore made that happen sooner than it should have in order to try to like coax Nimrod to come into being.
Right, because Nimrod had to come sooner than before as well, because there have been other Nimrod was a character a long time ago, and he was more easily defeated than this one. So she explains, like, you also were like, you're here sooner, but there's another version of you that sucks that was defeated.
Yes, there's like a shitty version of you that just did not work out. I gotta tell you, initially when the Omega Sentinel was like telling us all this, and I was like, oh my gosh, is this Moira?
Right? Could be. It could be Moira. But yeah, so the Omega Sentinel has like science to drop where it's like they're gonna let those children in the vault out and they're gonna get their shit kicked in by Apocalypse and his children. That's coming. And then
which I love that callback. Like,
yeah,
they're just always waiting in the wings,
right?
They're badassery.
They're gonna do that. They're gonna call back to Ten of Swords. But basically, like, it all falls apart. Humanity needs to. They deal with they talk about Nimrod, the Phalanx. They don't call them the Phalanx for some reason. I don't know why. But the mutants prevent mankind's ascension. And that is like Omega Sentinel's big problem, because according to her, because like that's the idea of Moira's whole thing is, and it's just this is Hickman all over, because in the beginning of Hickman's run on like Fantastic Four up to Secret Wars, Reed comes to an inevitable conclusion, which is everything dies.
Yep.
And that's the guiding force behind everything he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, he learns everything lives. And in this one, it's we always lose. That's Moira's takeaway. And then at the end, we find out from Omega Sentinel that like she comes from a future where the mutants always win.
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because like the reason I guess my brain wants to make her Moira so badly is because she's basically like the bad guys version of Moira.
Yeah.
I guess depending on who you think the bad guys are at this point in the story, folks. But you know, she doesn't have the same necessary powers unless she does as Moira, but her consciousness is from a time period where she got to see the future. Yeah, exactly. And has come back and is now guiding a like group of individuals, like because Orcus is made up of all different types of scientists from all over the place, much like Krakoa is mutants from all over, from all different walks of life coming together. It's like it's symmetry, it rhymes.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, no, like literally the Moira who sought to cure mutants would definitely be this Omega Sentinel.
Yeah.
Would line up with these goals.
100%. The one that was burned to death.
Yeah. So Magneto and the one that was burned to death. So Magneto and Xavier, they go to the Orcus like lab in Terra Verde where Moira's being kept. They find the whole place has been like torn through and everyone's slaughtered. It's wrecked. And they find Moira's severed arm on a chair and that she is not recoverable because she's someplace else. That whoever caught her knew about the tracker and placed it there and also slaughtered everybody in that Orcus facility. And of course, the people who took Moira were called that was Mystique and Destiny.
Yeah.
So, but what Xavier and Magneto discover instead is a trap, which I guess suggests that Mystique and Destiny are working with Orcus because
no, because
all of Orcus,
because they I'm gonna guess they knew that they would send reinforcements and it might be Nimrod because they broke in to get Moira from Orcus and they slaughtered everybody and then they sent like an alarm went off while the Omega Sentinel and Nimrod were talking and so they were sent down to deal with it.
That's right. So Magneto and Xavier have to face against all of Orcus and Nimrod and the Omega Sentinel while Moira is trapped with our two main antagonists of the series.
Yeah, it's rough.
Exciting.
It's like on the one hand, I get it. I get some of like, you know, Destiny and Mystique being like, nobody can determine whether or not we're reset, blah, 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 blah,
right,
blah.
But you didn't burn a human
like,
being alive because
you did do that, first of all. Second of all, are they going about it in the right way? I don't know, and I don't think they know either. But I mean, Moira has a point. She's like, it doesn't work out for us. And just, you know, like it's just from her, like 9 times doing this now, like it doesn't work out. Yeah. So I get her drive. I'm not saying she's right at all. And I think they've created something amazing. And again, it's one of those things I'm just glad we get stories from it. And it's really, really cool. But like Mystique and Destiny's like righteousness in like in what they're doing. I'm like, let's think about this for like a hot second.
Totally.
Just think about it before you act.
So it's good. I'm excited. It's cool.
Yeah. No, it is. It's great. It's frustrating because it's Hickman, so it's like we can guess and guess and guess, and maybe some of the guesses that we make are correct, but you don't know what's going to happen. And part of me doesn't want to try to guess. Like I just want him to tell me the story. Tell me the tale of what happens to Moira and all these characters.
Exactly.
Because I'm having such a good ride with it, even if it is a downhill ride.
Yeah.
You know? It's scary and, you know, it has to come to an end at some point, but while you're going through it, it's great.
Yeah. John Ty wanted to know our thoughts on the second issue of Tom King's Human Target. It's fantastic. The art is better than the writing, but it's still fantastic.
Ouch.
No, I mean, the writing's good. It's just like, but the art is like, the art's the star of the show.
Okay, that's fair.
We also read Devil's Reign number 106. This is the continuation of the Daredevil run, which of course was impeccable. If you haven't already read every issue of Daredevil, you should. You don't need to in order to read Devil's Reign, but it does help. This is of course written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Marco Cicchetto, and it basically is Civil War 4, I believe. The idea being that there was Civil War 2. There was the one with the kids, where it's like the Children's Superhuman Registration Act, and now this one. Basically, like I said, Fisk is a problem. I can't remember who you are. He goes to Daredevil. Daredevil goes like, nah, and then leaves. So Fisk enacts basically like a superhero registration or like crackdown, a superhero ban, if you will. There's a lot of ripped from the headlines moments in Kingpin's address as mayor of New York to New York, but basically saying like, there's got to be accountability, and I'm done like dealing with heroes and or so-called superheroes. So I'm gonna do a crackdown, a superhero ban in America, and so that's that. And there are people at the federal level who are down for this plan and looking forward to implementing it elsewhere as well. Fisk is making a name for himself basically by painting a target on the backs of all these heroes. I love they call it the Powers Act. There's a great moment where like we see everybody's reaction to it. General Ross loves it. You see Tony Stark just say, we've been down this road before. Love that. Storm is like, Krakoa has no interest in this, and I'm not going to get involved. And Moon Knight getting arrested. And it's taking like a bunch of different like agents trying to take him down. It's great. Of course, we're more shades of Civil War because we got deputized villains who are being used to take down heroes, Rhino, and like, Agony, I think is the symbiote that he uses in this scene, which is great, and U.S. Agent. We see the heroes like try to do their best. Miles Morales Spider-Man gets like arrested. Captain America steps in. He's like, that's the end of that. We see the heroes like kind of band together and they have to go underground, and like it's Elektra and Daredevil and everybody. The Fantastic Four are targeted as well, and they're like, "There's no way you can deal with us because we have a deal with the federal government. There's no way." Then they get immediately hit by inhibitor collars, and Dr. Octopus is sent to take down the Fantastic Four. And the exchange is like, you take down the Fantastic Four, like you arrest the Fantastic Four, and you get the Baxter Building. And Doc Ock's like, I am so in on that. Reed and Sue are taken down, but not before Sue activates the alarm thing, and the children and Johnny engage with the police, I guess you can call them. They escape and jump on their fantastic car and leave. Luke and Jessica and Danny are just taking a walk. They're like, we should probably get the hell out of here. Thankfully, we don't wear costumes. There is an emergency involving I think it's a bus that's like crashes into oncoming traffic. Luke steps in, saves the day, but then they try to arrest him. So Luke Cage gets front row seat. He's getting involved.
Good.
When he defeats Shocker, and Jessica takes some like victims away to like rescue. Everyone whips out their phones, and Luke basically gives a big Luke Cage-esque speech about like freedom and liberty and all that stuff.
Okay.
And he ascends to Bendis level Luke Cage, and it's great. Yep,
that's great.
It's great. If you don't, you will need to read a little bit of Daredevil because like Wilson Fisk's illegitimate son has taken over the role of Kingpin, and he knows he's Kingpin's son, and Kingpin knows he's his son, but no one's talking about it or addressing it. And so Kingpin is like, this is your city. I want to help you. And he's like, I don't want any help from you. You were never there for me. I'm not interested.
Oh.
He's also he's in cahoots with Daredevil's evil twin brother, who is pretending to be Matt Murdock. Don't ask, just read Daredevil. And basically, it's an election year. So Wilson Fisk is like posturing. That's the expectation from cynical members of the superhero community. They're like, I mean, he's just doing a thing. Danny and Luke and Jessica get picked up by Tony Stark, who is like, I'm going to run for mayor of New York, and that's how we're going to beat Kingpin. Meanwhile, Kingpin knows that Purple Man, or at least his children, are responsible for the Daredevil identity thing.
Okay.
So he goes and he discovers where Purple Man's being held, and he lets him out. and then immediately kills Purple Man. He's like, no, I'm gonna use you, like your biology, for what I want, but we're not like teaming up.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Doc Ock is just having a field day in the Baxter building and using like their Phantom Zone portal or a Negative Zone portal.
He's like, I'm in the Negative Zone. I'm out. I'm in the Baxter building.
Yeah, exactly. He's having a blast. And we see Kingpin's true designs and what he's actually setting up for. He's not setting up for a re-election in New York. He's setting up for a presidential campaign.
Oh, no.
So, very much, if you are looking for a deeper meaning to this story, I think it is a commentary on American politics, but also it's a big Marvel Comics event ripped from the headlines about basically Kingpin taking on the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
And while I did cynically refer to it as Civil War 4, which it absolutely is, I like Zdarsky's writing, and I believe that if anyone's going to do it, he could do it great. And it's localized. But the idea is that like it could all start all over again. Like Fisk is doing it on a local level. Tony Stark getting directly involved only makes it that much more amplified and worse. Like it could become a powder keg, and it's all because Fisk is just angry at Daredevil, which is like, yep. So it's just it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The art, of course, is impeccable. I wasn't hyped, but I do like it a lot. I think it's a solid book, and I think it's a fun event, despite the fact that it's like we've done this before, but like, we can ignore a few others.
Okay.
I dig it. Joshua Link says, the reason they call them Dominions instead of Phalanx is from Powers of 10. Number 5, Dominions are basically 3 stages of advance higher. Hickman. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking because that was like there's a whole infographic in there about
what they are
at different levels. But they're being very specific there. But yeah, you're on a roll.
Thank you. Neil and Bradley sending love to the Stellar Squad that studies sequential storytelling. Nice alliteration there.
Well, thank you.
Much. And I think we're almost there. That was Neil and Nathan Berg. I graduated magna cum laude for BS in English education. Whether you all know it or not, you've been there every step of the way. Thank you. And yay me, ComicPop. Well done, Nathan. Congratulations, man.
Congrats. That's huge.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Well earned. And, use it well.
Thanks for taking us on the journey.
It's true. Thank you. Greg Cashman, at work, so I can't stay, but Tiffany, the Once in Future Cashman, sorry. At work, so I can't stay, but Tiffany, Once in Future Deluxe Edition is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely worth buying, in my opinion.
Is it? See, that always makes it hard because I know we have the floppies and I think we have a couple of trades, and then I'm like, do I need another version of it? I'll have to see it. I'll have to check it out on that recommend.
Yeah. So let's recommend some books. Let's talk about what's coming out this week.
That
we think you should buy. I might read Hulk #2.
I think you will. I bet you will.
I'm going to read it. We'll see. But I'm going to read that, and that's it.
What?
There's nothing else coming out that week that I'm that excited about.
All right. Wonder Woman number 782 is coming out. So if you're talking about Wonder Woman, go for it. For your X-Men Mutant Krakoan books, you're looking for X-Force number 26 this week. And Excalibur number 26.
Yep.
I'm really excited about the Excalibur one personally. I'm sure X-Force is going to be great as well, but it's Betsy and Saturnine on a boat together, stuck someplace. They hate each other. I love it. I love it so much. Eternals number 8 is coming out. This is Kieran Gillen with Asad Ribic.
Yep.
Yeah. On this one. So it's that return of that series, the Eternals living with the Deviants. What's Thanos doing? Thanos is in charge of the Eternals. He's the Prime Eternal. Prime Eternal now. So things are bad. Strange Academy number 14. Great little sleeper hit. People love to discover this book. And I like the cover when I'm seeing here. It looks like them as adults. I don't know. Written by Scotty Young. Art by Humberto Ramos. Wonder Girl number 6. We just talked about Wonder Girl number 5. It came out 2 weeks ago. So number 6 is coming out now. So we're moving along here. Joelle Jones and Layla Del Duca is on this.
Okay.
For art this time. I'm gonna guess they're splitting it up in order to try to get things to move along here a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give this a shot. I think. Batgirls number 1.
Oh yeah, that's right. I will read that as well.
Written by
that's
Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. So if you like the writing on Wonder Woman, this is the team who's writing Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
With art by Jorge Corona. I like
forgot,
Corona's
yeah.
work. So for sure that.
Yeah.
Demon Days Rising Storm #1 is coming out. So I'm gonna pick that up. Peach Momoko.
Yeah.
Doing the duty on that. There's also, I think, a version of one of the earlier books that she did. They're putting out. It's like a director's cut kind of version. It's got a lot of like pencils, black and white sketches stuff in it. So if you like her work and you like her art in particular, you might want to look for that as well. And then I'm just kind of interested in this. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't even know if I'm going to grab it. If I remember, we'll find out. Wastelanders Wolverine #1.
Oh.
Is coming out. It's the return of to the wastelands of Old Man Logan.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
Here's what got me. But Saving the Day looks different with the Hulk baby under his care. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll find out what he's going to do with that Hulk baby.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Written by Stephen S. DeKnight with art by Ibrahim. Ibrahim. I'm sorry, I pronounced it all incorrectly. Okay. But for me, next week it's a heavy week for me.
Yeah. Plus, Defenders is coming out.
I didn't even see Defenders. Was that on the list?
It's on the list. Defenders #4. Yep.
Crap, that hasn't come out in so long.
I know. That's why it's like, oh, here it is. But yeah.
So Defenders #4 is also coming out. Thanks.
Al Ewing, Javier Rodriguez.
God damn.
I know. Heavy week.
Heavy week for me. For me in particular.
Yeah, but thank you for reminding me about Batgirls, because I'm going to read that too.
There you go.
And yeah, no, I'm not recommending Spider-Man. It's number 81's coming out. It is Legacy, by the way, number 882. So there's 18 more issues before 900. So like, it's like nobody cares until 1,000. They're just spinning their wheels until they get to 1,000.
Are you still reading Urban Legends?
No.
Okay.
No, Urban Legends is too expensive and not enough. Like, there's not enough there.
Is Robin and Batman coming out too?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The Dustin Nguyen book?
Yes, that's right. By the way, Alex Sanchez says, hey, y'all, loving the show. Just curious if you had been keeping up with Robin and what were your thoughts on the most recent issue. Just damn, lol. Yeah, no, I dropped it. I will be reading more of it in a little while, but I skipped 2 issues and I was like, it takes like 8 minutes to read or less. So like I will catch up with Robin.
And you will have a chance. Like Sal's been doing double duty past couple of weeks filming wise in order to give the crew time off. So he's been pretty jam-packed with filming and just trying to get a whole bunch of shows done so that everybody can take off for like the end of the year holiday time and not have to worry about like not having content.
It's true.
So it's been busy. He's a busy man right now, but he'll have some time.
Dan V900's Robin and Batman 2 comes out tomorrow. Yep, we said that. But where did you read the first issue? We didn't. I'm excited for the ending of Batman the Imposter. Yeah, that's I'll read it when it's all done.
I don't have the issue here right now. I guess it went to because we have 2 different spaces, like books end up places and then that's the end of it. And if I know I have it in physical, I'm like, I don't want to spend money again to buy it digitally. So I'm gonna find it. I have to find the book. I don't know where it is.
Exactly.
I really wanted to read that because obviously I like Nguyen just as a creator, but his art,
yeah. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate everybody, especially the super chatters who sponsored today's episode. We really, really thank you for helping us out. And if you want to help us out some more and you don't want to spend any money, that's totally fine. Just go over and subscribe to ComicPop's main channel at youtube.com/ComicPop or here at youtube.com/ComicPop Returns and follow on twitch.tv/ComicPop. ComicPop everywhere. But follow us over there.
And don't forget, next week we'll probably be not talking about all of those books. No, we won't be off.
No, not until the following week.
Because Spider-Man comes out.
Yes. We will talk about Spider-Man. Week. We'll talk about Hawkeye all next week. But the following week, like the 27th or 31st, probably not.
We'll probably round robin some books. I'm going to still read books and I'll still talk to you about them.
Yeah. But we're going to be talking about Spider-Man.
We're going to talk a lot. Well, so Spidey senses be tingling for spoilers, I guess.
Big time. So watch out. But thank you all so much, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody.
Bye.